accomplish in the bonus session?
We were done.
What's that?
Revive the. We were done.
It's a bonus session.
Functioning.
And his
I didn't want to start it.
I didn't want to do that. We were
How many think of it?
the city would revive it, but.
Let me analyze it for you.
Go at it, buddy.
That's what I do best.
I heard because the coffee shop is very important.
Mark, what do you want to accomplish?
Staying together.
I want to find out
I
more
heard
about
in
when
Chicago, they want to bring
meetings.
every leader from all around the world and to stay in the same coffee shop.
Okay, Sharita, what do you want to accomplish in the bonus session?
They want the whole world.
I really like the profitable partnership. I mean, I understand, that is kind of like where I'm going towards.
This is a.
Okay.
I want to
Not just
keep my
one.
business going, but I don't want to necessarily just rely on one thing. I guess I'm looking to make more residual income, so I'm kind of like that type of person where I need to
come up next time.
get connected with people who can help me get some of the ideas off the ground.
So 1 to 10, how much do you trust? Is it?
Based on the first time we talked, I would say probably an 8. It was pretty high.
And after today?
I would give you a 10, but with that whole blow up, not just joking. Yeah, definitely like a 9, for sure.
So, what are you at?
Over here, I said a 9 for sure.
A 9.
I don't drink coffee, but I've been there once.
Yeah.
Do we want to videotape Joe the other room?
Nice job on this, whoever did that.
Amy did it.
Yeah, Mark did that. He printed out and mailed to my house. I just go to China and bring this with me.
So,
Went all the way out to China to
So,
translate it. How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
like, how deep would you like me to go with you? Or how direct would you like me to be with you?
I like direct.
Is Jonathan still in the other room?
I can take it, I need it, you know, kind of like, you remember
Well,
how
you
some
just
of
showed
you,
up.
someone used to have that
I just
person
showed up.
who kind of helped keep me in the right direction, like
You're
my mom and
amazing.
stuff like that.
You're amazing.
It's like I've been missing that, like that
I would never
support,
order
or
it.
that person to tell me when I'm wrong, or if I'm doing
I would never
something,
order it like that.
you know, that could be a little more constructive, or going a different direction. I like that type of thing.
It's just like, you know.
Cause I follow instruction very well. I'm like that kind of person, like, just tell me what you want,
You know what I'm saying?
and we'll get it done.
Yeah. So have you ever met somebody like me before?
We kind of got cut off when people started to.
Thinking about it. And I would have to say no, or they would still be a part of my life.
You want to meet
If
anybody
that
else
makes
like
sense.
that?
Then I wouldn't be here.
session?
We are doing a bonus right now. This is bonus.
Really?
Mark's gonna give me one more question.
Sorry.
What it was. That's what it was. I can't
Did you figure it out yet, Peter?
financial like that.
How many kids is
That was like,
I understand three things,
because
Kevin.
I literally work by myself. I have that big location and I'm the only worker. And that's more preference with business stuff. Yeah, that wasn't.
I'm trying to create one and to create it fast,
Right now,
higher risk than if you really know somebody.
that's why I'm trying to get creative to get
Trust is,
extra money.
like I say, it's a dimensional thing. And
Well, no, just keep it going. Peter and I are having a great conversation.
All right, I can hear you.
So that's all, you know, I want to create this and.
So what's the most important thing
Okay.
to create a
I
profitable
think I might have
partnership with
seen you
this
before
individual?
there.
What's the most important thing that you can do?
Okay.
I have a kid.
Probably establish that
Oh, so
level
you're
of
busy
trust
with that.
so that
Okay.
you can, you know that you can rely on them, so, yeah, so do their part in the partnership. She can do the job.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's not.
And I have 2 young children too, so that was another
Relationship
thing.
with her
I looked
that
at.
it works for both of us, so it's a win-win situation. I'll bring a card, know that.
Okay.
So Kevin made a critical mistake with a couple of people from China.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
Kevin, can you share with Peter the mistake that you made with a couple people from China, so he doesn't make the same mistake in developing a
How you
profitable
doing?
partnership?
Sharita, nice to meet you.
You mean the fact that I asked a high-level question, and didn't know it was a high-level question?
That pizza was real good.
I went to,
Not on the, no, it's the two people you brought onto your team.
oh, yeah, okay.
So did you have another?
So, I reached out
Okay.
to
Me and another
Amy.
spicy pizza.
Amy reached out to Lisa Wong, who's been here before. And my call was, I'm looking to expand my business. I'm looking for agents,
In my mind's eye.
Chinese agents, in health
So what I
insurance.
discovered,
And one gal called me within 24 hours saying, I'm already licensed.
Ed, if you wanna join
I'll
us.
sit down and talk with you, introduce them to
So what I
know that I'm working with the healthcare system.
It's a perfect,
Wonderful thing. She actually came to
discipline.
our training, and went to the training, she's already licensed and brought a friend with her. So it was amazing, I'm thinking, this is great.
I'm coming over.
And then I'm thinking, this is wonderful. Mastermind
So,
solution.
Amy, you can come in the middle here.
At different levels.
Okay.
This is great. Agents call me.
I can see, I can see.
And so,
No, I was thinking.
And then, it just wasn't the right fit, because
So
they
you and
thought
I
they were gonna use this
connected without even you knowing it, because even though I haven't had that,
healthcare solutions
I could feel
database
the energy of
just to
it.
sell their own
And I
stuff,
sensed it. I could-
and had no
I could
intention
sense
of
that
them being
energy.
full-time
Okay.
with what we're doing, which was,
No, the
yeah,
energy of
it
it.
is what it is.
Like,
But you didn't know that.
I mean, you had a heart transplant.
Yeah,
I mean,
but here's the mistake. I didn't get him into this.
right,
I didn't get him into master.
right. I mean,
you go
I
back,
thought it was working
Right.
because
hours
that's
of
what I
things, I
wanted.
mean, it's,
Right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm thinking it's gonna be a win-win. In my mind, I'm thinking,
on my birthday.
she'd even brought up, she had this paper because Lisa had invited her and she goes, I go, you've gotta show up. This is really, I hadn't promoted it, but it was somebody else who promoted it. I didn't keep it
Yeah.
going.
Watch you.
Getting
Right,
back,
I
you
gotta
gotta
watch
come to
you,
master
man.
business. You have,
But a
because
year
it's gonna
after,
be the system to help you run your business.
A year after my heart failed.
So she even brought something that Lisa sent her, which was a copy.
Don't know what caused the heart to fail.
Invite, and I said, she goes, do you know anything about this? I go, I'm glad you
But
brought
just
that up.
gradually got sicker over the year and then got.
It was early in the process, and she was at one of the meetings, and I said, yes, Mark Boersma, I know Mark. He goes,
Get out
does
of
he
it.
do the
I was
insurance?
face down on
No,
a chair.
but you have to
Just
show up
design
to the
that.
mastermind
Trying to
partnership,
sort things
the
out.
mastermind
Trying to work for
seminar
someone
thing, because you're gonna learn a lot about your business. And Lisa invited you, you should come out to the next thing that we have. Thank you so much.
Wanted to move me up and move me faster.
And they go, oh, okay.
2 days
And
on
that's
the
how
waiting
we
list.
left it. I didn't
After
follow
they finally
through. That was my huge mistake. So
So
they're not doing anything.
Just, if it was a hamstring, you could get off
So
of
what
it
did
for a
you
week,
learn
but
from
you can't
that?
get off your
I
heart.
need to get
It
it
just
here.
wasn't gonna heal.
Really? Yeah, $300
So it was good.
and,
I got it right.
Wow.
Wow.
I was surprised you got so quick.
Yeah, I think the longest.
So,
they were-
Kevin?
they were gonna put me
Yes,
in
sir.
a room
I would go ahead and
of
tighten it up on the front end, tell them exactly what they ought to do.
plans to be
And then if they
in the
need
hospital
stories
8
to
weeks.
support it, you can give them stories. But a lot of times,
Before we
the
even
stories
have to
can
go
create
in.
confusion for people, and then it distracts them from really what you want, and they
Kinda
don't
weird
really
to pray for
understand
somebody
what,
who
I'm surprised
died,
that you
but-
got what you did.
We knew that
No, it's not the first time I heard it.
it was a good time.
Well, it still surprises me that you got it.
Well, I know, but that's because.
So, in the future, let me get this straight again.
You told me the same thing last week.
So tell Peter what you did wrong. So what I should have said is, I didn't get him here, and that was the issue.
He was more emphatic.
And if he wants to hear more, he can ask, and I can tell him, if
Right,
not,
or if you
then we're
don't think
done.
you, if you don't think he's got it, then you can do stories.
As long as I, as long
I
as
didn't
somebody
see
pays
that
for it, I
probably
think
come
it's,
across my mind, that they won't get it.
Illinois, I'll keep
I assume
covered.
they will get
Keep
it,
it
that's an
being
issue.
covered.
So
that I
just
can
say,
provide for
they
my
should have come
kids.
to Mastermind, I should have gotten here as opposed to trying
It
to.
might be different now.
That was the first thing I should have
We're
done.
assuming that people get it, that's it.
I wasn't sure if you got it.
Last
Honestly,
time I tried to pay.
I'm like, I'm gonna see
it
if,
was
I'm gonna see if
$600.
Kevin got it,
But
because I didn't have confidence that you got it.
it was crazy, the doctor
No,
called the
that's,
pharmacy.
but that's just, he just brings it straight up.
No, let him pay.
But it's true,
I
like, who
wasn't
cares about the
expecting
story?
it, but
No,
for some reason I
who
had
cares about
$600
the story?
in my
Stories
pocket.
matter. Stories
They
sell.
can, but
Oh,
they
I guess
don't
I'm
have
supposed
to.
pay.
Okay.
See, higher level, I think
No, no,
higher
use
level
this
people, a
code.
lot of times don't want
And
stories.
it was
Because they get it, they're like, oh, I get it, I don't need a story. Maybe they do get it, maybe they don't.
That's why you've been very gracious
I was
with
like,
me.
somebody needs to get paid.
Let me go for a while. You know, you did tell me the story before.
But maybe not.
And I get it.
Somebody should get paid. Does me getting it for free?
But my
price
emails.
go up for somebody else?
I like formatted emails, the bold thing and italic, and then it's more straightforward. How can I improve?
Well,
If anybody's gonna do
You know what?
the thing is to me, the ability to see, John Henderson said, it, you know, the thing that's interesting about you
I think
is
one of the doctors.
you have the ability to see big pictures and a lot of vision, and get into transition.
One guy.
Most people do the work, see the vision, and very So it's the ability to kill stuff. I mean, just see it do it, because then it increases your bandwidth tremendously.
They just keep my immune system so nearly not complete.
That's why I know that increasing.
I was like, fast, a lot.
And it'll go so much faster.
I've been working with them for 2
See,
weeks, but I don't remember his last
having everybody
He lives
understand
over
the
on-
natural law,
he
the
lives
next
over in
dimension,
the,
all of a sudden, there's all this.
Plainfield, he has a house there on that like lake
Because we all
where he has like a
understand
boat and everything, so.
We're able to
Huh?
communicate
You are
this.
closer, but you're in a skirt.
Just no.
Blonde?
Oh,
No, he's, no, it's not.
I mean, it's just.
So it's like the Verizon commercial, the guy walks in, he's reading your mind?
Right,
Right. Work on that.
right. That's exactly what it is.
So you wanna commit to the new iPhone 6, everybody's coming in here, everybody knows that. That's
Right.
what they're coming in for.
Right, because we all understand the same thing, the DNA people, DNA business, DNA life, we understand, so we understand things so we can communicate more in less time.
Box 1, box 2.
Right, so I was thinking, what if we got together, like on the, what if we got together on the third, on the first Thursday of each month, and just hung out, like for lunch or something? I don't care where it is.
That's a good idea. I think more frequently it kind of, it helps to stay connected.
Saturday, 7:30 to 8 on the phone, really important.
7:30 till 9 or 10.
It's 7:30 to 8.
Okay.
It's 7:30 to 8. If people want to stay beyond 8, they can. That is their option, totally up to them.
Okay. And it's the same number?
Same conference call, right?
So I'll lock that into my phone.
Business Saturday, maybe one.
You never stay on for a half hour.
Do these people have to?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's over.
Next door to your office. North, across street?
No, literally next door, I mean, big.
No, I mean, what's across the street?
Oh,
South Florida, like kind of around the bend there?
no, right before the bend.
Oh,
Between Plum and the
Well, I wanted to eat
right?
before the bend.
You do.
There's a chain
Right
of
before,
houses.
yeah.
So like,
It's the graveyard and then.
the graveyard on one side
It's
and.
big.
Right,
Graveyard, there's a building, my building,
yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have the capacity.
And Amy,
Edward wants to buy
you're,
He does.
you have a business as well? A local?
Yes, yes, I'm the requester, get a green card.
So what do I really?
Yeah.
I miss it.
You want to talk to
Like many different investors?
Talk to Kevin about influence.
Majority from China, from China.
Influence.
Yeah, it's probably the richest
That was
in
about
China, they want to come.
On one's wife.
Oh, and my wife.
And live and
Wants
invest.
my wife to show up. Might get
Yes,
around the phone
and
call.
also,
Not so much.
we also attract
I don't care
people
if
there
she
from
shows,
marketing.
doesn't matter to me.
What do you want?
Because we don't have
You want her to show up.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
No, you are.
It's gonna be
I
a
mean,
huge amount of people.
just, it's like you're clueless. It's like you're walking.
He said if you wanna go to another country, the best way is own your own business.
She would
You have
gain
money,
money.
because you go to the other country, you know.
No, you would be.
business there, well, I want you to.
If you want to
I'm not
live
seeing
in
that.
another country or visit
Well,
anything,
that's
just
just
have.
You wanna live.
See, I wanted to visit, so that's why. Yeah.
Like if I wanted to go live in China, if I went over there and opened a company over there,
It's easy to get over there.
same with China, I wanna come over here and open a business, it's easy to come.
Yeah, yeah. And I really think.
So I think if you showed, then I would say.
I lost over 20 pounds.
All these days, many of them. You said that. But I told Kristen, she should write, you know, her Outlook
They
calendar.
wanted the people sitting in the same company from all around the
Long
world.
term is not short.
I mean, all the different boxes, and then there's these little open sheet you put that, just specific, 5 different asks at different times and different.
Coffee shop order.
Last
So,
one,
They try to put in
Shane,
China,
any questions?
last
for me?
one
give me
was,
advance notice. And Ron's gonna be in house.
Let's know
That
that.
way I can bring my wife
Well,
and, you
you
know,
can swing back around
my
like
kids,
how
and
direct.
hold it for a week or two.
Let me think about it.
Yeah.
They tell me a long time
See,
ago,
the thing is, like, when people,
don't go, you know.
when people,
On the last
like 1 to
day.
10, how direct would you like to be? Many people say 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah, I won't
Many
mind
going
going
2
to,
feels like 12.
especially if somebody goes with, they can talk, so that.
So
The only time I get
it's
The benefits are.
very, very Amy in it, and I can see stuff.
I wanna go to the China.
So I can really feed it.
If I go with
I can't.
I'm just looking, I'm just joking.
And
I want
in
to,
ways, it's like I try to have
I
like
wanna
an
open up like,
kind of, sort of,
merchant site
I don't know.
and be able to import.
Okay, I could see that, because she and I think a lot alike. Yeah,
I
so,
would like to see,
see, I just have this different thing, that if somebody has something wrong, they wanna know it, so they can fix it.
the problem is,
Share
A
it.
lot of little last things.
from here, I can't trust.
Most people.
And I have
But I do
actually
have
tend
like
to purchase it.
Right.
Let me just walk around. It's a fine line between.
I think usually for me, as long as there's not like intense yelling.
So if
And.
Was that just today?
No, and I'm talking
But
directly,
then I
like,
want,
Right, and one-on-one, it's like really.
right, I mean, long as it's not overly intense, I can handle it. And if I'm having a bad day, you know, sometimes it's kind of emotional, it might be kind of like,
Right, do you know where, you know what, like, when they test nasal seals?
no,
That's test them on their
I could,
yeah.
physically, because in life, in real life, or in real life and in business, that's when you're gonna get tested, and so when you're weakest, I'll do something.
temporary, cheap,
Because I have
cheap,
4 girls, 7
say,
kids, 4
$4 or
girls.
$5 a square foot.
She goes around the corner.
I think I understand them better than they understand themselves.
Right, docs.
I need a loading dock,
So
I
I'm
need,
kind of inoculated, but
say 2,500 feet.
So that doesn't
Cares about people.
oh, it doesn't bother me at all. But what it does is a lot of times what they'll do is they'll back it down, or you flip it. But typically they'll back it down and just have to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You just go ahead and.
Right, because it's like, hey,
It's like you gotta
here's
get it anyway, right?
retail space.
like, right, so my wife, you know,
And it could be an industrial
over the years have
plant.
said to me, like, Mark, I hate being around you because.
Well, that's why I want it,
You already know.
I want it cheap, it's like, okay, I want to really keep my teeth, but cheap.
All you can do is reveal it.
Oh.
37.
I want it for free.
So I say that publicly, yeah,
Right,
you
you just
can't-
put it out there.
I just put it out there, and so I
Here's
said
my
that all
idea.
the time.
I'm gonna hook up with Amy.
My wife,
I'm gonna buy granite.
did you meet Roseanne?
And
Yes,
if
we
we're
did
granite,
talk
I'm
about
gonna get an exclusive granite in
Yep,
here.
so,
And
so,
I'm gonna sell
we were
it
in the living
to
room
all of the
about 5 years
rehabbers.
ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
And the cabinet.
Who's gonna
And
cut it?
I'm sitting on the couch and something, I said,
It doesn't have to be cut.
it's not even, you know, I feel so stupid.
Countertops already pre-polished, pre-formed, I'm like,
Yes,
And I kind of look out at the corner of my eye, and I smile. She's heard me say, you can't make anybody feel stupid, all you can do is reveal it.
Or they can do
Then
it.
she kind of hauls off and hits me,
There's a
Right,
trick.
it's like your fault.
you know? And then she starts crying,
That's the hard part.
really crying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy,
I'm like,
I can
I love
put
this, this is so
in a
cool.
container,
And she's like crying, I'm
100
like, this is so awesome, I love this. I'm like, why are you
minimum,
crying?
probably 120,
She's like,
180, 8 foot,
I just wish I was like you.
24
And,
inch.
you know, and be married probably 4
Granite
years, we've been married 30 years,
One
probably
polished
so 26 years of marriage, she's never said that.
in a
She's
container.
never said she wanted to be like you. So this is like significant.
Okay?
It's like significant. It's like, oh,
Put it in a
I'm
warehouse.
curious. I'm like,
Sell it.
Right.
like, what do you mean? She's like,
You want it, you only need
I
4
get
feet of
defensive about
countertop,
everything.
great.
Time doesn't matter.
Get a saw and cut
You
it.
get defensive about nothing. You can tell you can just total straight. It's like, you're
I'm not
stupid.
about this.
You're an idiot. I'm like, really? Oh, it's so cool that you see that.
Cut it.
You know, can you help me understand what it is? I'm like, so I can grow. And she says, I wish I was like
I
this.
want to be in my
brain is like exploding. I'm like,
countertop.
I gotta figure out this answer. What's just happening right here and now? I'm like,
Sell them for
and she's
100.
crying, crying, and I'm like, I got it, I got it.
I got a video.
Okay, and she
Spray
sprayed
it
it, and I
with a
said,
wet
it's
bottle
because
and
you
a
cried from
diamond
an
tip
arrogant.
saw, your circular, so the diamond saw,
Great, crying.
circular saw, and a circular saw.
You know, and she was so beaten down, and she's so beaten down, and she's like so emotional. She didn't even fight. She didn't do anything. She didn't hit me
It's
again.
just like, okay.
Yeah, she just.
I will on my own consecutively.
Right, it's like, you know, and I'm like, she's like, what do you mean? I said, see, they're fighting a problem. See, nobody really fights besides me. I mean, our own kids don't even.
Fourth section, fifth section.
Me, I'm stupid. I get it. I understand it. It is what it is. But see, here's, you know what? If somebody reveals, what a great gift they've given.
20% of what I buy is gonna
Who
break
cares
on
if
the
what
way
their
here.
intent is? I don't care what somebody's intent. Your intent is to hurt me. Fine. I mean, if you
Okay.
can help me intending to hurt me, so nobody can hurt us. We can only allow it to be hurt. And so it's like massive right now. So if I had backed down, if I had pressed her forward in a time of vulnerability, to get down to the courts, pride and arrogance.
I got 9 units.
So people think I'm arrogant. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay, you know, appreciate that. What can I do to change her if I need to?
Well, I mean, I can't
People
be
don't think
racist.
she's, you know, so people don't think she's arrogant, but she is, because she doesn't want to allow other people in.
No, because
So,
the ocean goes like this.
It does.
Huh?
Make airplane.
It's a stone.
yeah.
You cut a stone to a.
I think a lot of it's almost like
this.
women are more
You put it in
sensitive
a
to
bag,
that.
you protect it
They're
as
more
much as you
sensitive
can,
to how
and
they
you
look
drop it on
and
the
how they
ocean, it
feel.
goes like this,
And
and
so,
they break
like,
from the weight and the
Like
shifting.
women, it's so intriguing because women think that they're really good in relationships.
No, you
Like
no,
she
you
said,
cannot. In
she
order to
said
get the
about a
TV
month
here,
before, it's
you
really
gotta
broken
pack
in
it in
our marriage. It's like,
styrofoam.
that's why nobody-
You gotta have the styrofoam
Nobody
fit
likes you, you're an
exactly.
idiot,
The
you know?
styrofoam's gotta fit exactly inside the box. It's gotta
And I
get
don't
wrapped,
but it's like,
everything's gotta be all perfectly packed.
like, well,
So you don't
I don't
wrap
have
this,
as many
what am I gonna
surface
do? If I
relationships
have to
as
wrap
you
the
do.
granite like that, I can't buy
She
it
doesn't have
for
a deep
$15 a
relationship with
slab,
anybody
it's gonna
besides
cost me a lot more.
I mean, I want her to have it, encouraging her. She's now doing that more, but it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard for her, so I think women are, they're more, because of their
You know what they do
sensitivity.
here? You want a countertop there,
Like, they always have to impress other
The
women.
guy got a slab.
And then, I don't know,
You
kind of
order the
non-slab,
slab,
that's
that cuts it off of his.
I don't wake up thinking about whether I wear the shirt.
Right, it's kind of,
I'm talking
they're
about
very
buying pre-made from China.
Right.
India and ship
So,
With people who might have college.
and so like I can change, I can help somebody change in an instant if they allow me to,
8800.
and I'm not afraid to do it.
I don't want women to be more like men.
There might be.
You know, I mean,
The question is it cost effective?
On the
Because,
middle ground.
you know what, if it breaks, and I can only sell
See,
6
my
countertop.
see,
Who
my wife
cares?
says to me, she
There's a
says,
validation.
If it breaks and I can sell a 4 foot and a 3 foot, there's a piece left over. Who cares?
see, my wife says,
Surface stuff.
see, my wife says that she thinks I'm more of a woman than she is,
More of a what?
a woman than she
You
is.
used up a lot of words in one.
Because,
You used a lot of words.
because I can buy
You'd
a
affirm
container of
what she
granite
said.
shipped from China,
Right,
delivered
40,000
by the end of the day.
Right,
for
right.
less than I could buy the granite countertops.
So most men are so scared to death of addressing like women. They're, you know, they just are. They're scared to death. They're emotional, you know. And so,
He said,
Yes.
crap dressing women.
See, just look at that. That proves your point.
See?
so
And
with
you hardly
me,
know her.
like, because I have 4 girls,
Right.
I have no fear.
Yeah, but you're the only one that has 4 girls.
Where's my check?
No, there's others.
No, very few.
Rebecca
Who is Rebecca?
from Michigan,
She's a woman.
she has 4 girls.
I know, but she's not the man having 4 girls.
I talked to her husband too.
So he's probably clueless.
Well,
Be right back.
yeah, no. So like I could change your life in an instant.
Were they flat
But
packed?
it could be really painful and you may
Are they
never go
flat
ahead
packed?
and want to talk to me again.
But I think it's better to just get it over with. And
It would
Just
seem
the
like
boards
it to me
need
too.
to be together.
And if you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, do it. It's better now.
Yeah, then
It's
later.
better now than after 10 years.
Right.
You know, I've been meaning to say this to you.
Right. Right, because that's gonna make me upset.
Right, it's
Yeah.
like, why waste the
Problem
time?
now
Yeah.
Wow.
is the finishing.
I'm one of those people, it's like, let me know up
Because
front,
of environmental.
because I don't like surprises later.
I think that he
input.
Yeah.
I like to just kind of put it all out there.
So I asked another woman this question.
Okay, what's
I
the
did it
question?
on the phone.
Okay.
I didn't do it in person.
Alderman?
So, do you know the power you have as a black woman?
Yeah, but when people start getting
I don't
sick
think
in
I've
the
ever really
kitchen,
thought about
2
it.
years later,
And then I guess
because
it
the
depends
nation
on
is
who
toxic
the
to
power's
them.
with. Like, I know I have power, but it depends on who
So
it's
we
on.
have to be very careful about
You mean what arena you have power in?
Right.
what do you think?
You know what I'm saying?
Are you saying like a demographic kind of thing?
Like the power I have over my husband might be different than the power I have over you.
Right.
That's what, you know.
Right. But do you know the inherent power that you have as being a demographic thing,
Okay.
Yeah, like a black.
like a black woman? Do you know?
Well, I think it's two minorities there, you being black, overcoming that, and being a woman. So you kind of fight both sides.
Or,
Are there business opportunities and grants and stuff?
well, there are,
Oh,
but
yeah, I mean, that
there
is-
are, but there's an inherent power
I don't
to.
think I've ever thought about the full power in the business
It's
aspect.
amazing. See, I didn't realize until, because I'm working a lot more in inner city, and so I have a lot more connections in the black community.
Right.
And so, like, I'm trying to feel all their energy. Like, my girls, to try to connect and really get their hearts and all
Yeah,
of that.
but you-
I'm like,
You don't always connect with everyone. And it's because of this, unfortunately.
right, but my girls are, it's, I mean, see,
It depends on where you're at though, too. Because you have, okay, I'm a person, I can speak candidly about being black. You have, you know, your different groups of people, how they're receptive. You have some people, as soon as they see another race, they're not even tuned in. This is like, oh gosh, here come the man, or, you know, whatever, trying to pull me down, or, you know, trying to get me for something. But then you have the group of people who are more receptive to a person who they feel they can relate to, or been through some of the things. And I could have easily not grown up in the hood, but people can have that perception that I can relate better than maybe you can. But it depends on who you're speaking to. But that's real in the black community.
so do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, how do I become a black you?
I love that!
Sorry about that.
That is,
Email, black.
oh
Right.
my gracious.
Powerful. That's the
How do
biggest
I
challenge.
become you on
Oh
the other
my.
side of the spectrum?
You never thought of that before, just give them.
Right. I wanna.
No, I've thought about it.
I wanna be your clone.
I have thought about,
You like
I have thought about that. Unbelievable. I cannot believe you asked that question.
Yeah. How do I become you, but still be me?
Right, because I want to be you, but still be me. See, I'm not worried about me being who I mean, I'm a driver analytic. I'm going to be, the male is very dominant, all the male, but I want to be like my girls. I want to understand them. I want to understand how they work. I want to understand their emotion. I want to understand everything. Why? Because I love my girls so much. And so to do that,
So to pour in rather than just learn more so you can impact females, instead of growing yourself and having opportunities with females, you're more like, I want to pour into them the way they receive it.
well, see, I prayed.
Or is that a count?
I prayed for 3 years because it dawned on me, like 7 kids, and I'm like God loves every child on the planet as much as He does mine,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and we should be seeking to be more like God. So therefore, I should love other kids as much as I love my own kids.
That's deep.
So I prayed for 3 years for that to occur, and then one day it did.
So now you feel that it's universal.
And then after it did, I'm like, what were you thinking? That's the stupidest prayer on the planet. 7's enough.
Right. That is a lot.
You know, but, and so like if I can feel the pain, if I can feel all of these different things, so I'm trying to relate. And so one of my 3 sons said, you know, he felt that he had gotten knocked out of a job or something from a Hispanic. He's like, you know, this is reverse discrimination. I'm like, buddy, you have no idea what it's not like, what it's like to not be a white male. You have so many advantages. And I'm like, don't whine to
Just
me.
walking in the door.
Do not whine to me about, you know, somebody, you know what, if they got a little advantage, well then, and so, like, like you won't hear that in any area except for probably white males.
Yeah.
Like, you won't hear that in Hispanic, like, well, you know, some black, you know, beat you out of a, well, you know, this, or a woman.
Yeah.
You know, so the only ones that will probably do that are white males. It's like, stop whining.
Right.
Well, that builds strength.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because it's not, there's
I saw a movie once that I was amazed by,
Okay.
the Hotel Rwanda,
Yeah.
and it had to do with one tribe of, I don't even know if it was a tribe, it was just two, it was racism between
Yes, I saw that.
Africans, and I'm going, on every level, I mean, grand spectrum, small spectrum, what he just said about, does it not occur among Hispanics, or
It does, yeah, we just don't see it so clearly.
well, when I was in mortgages,
Well, it's not reported as
when
much,
I was in
but I can
mortgages,
see it.
That's true.
when I was in mortgages, it's, like predatory lending is like 80% of it's always nationality on
Yeah.
nationality.
Right.
And so I'm trying to feel, okay, now how, have I ever been, like, have I ever had prejudice? And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember so when I first got into the mortgage industry, I was covering Hinsdale and Oakville.
Right.
And I'm a young male, talking to women that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay.
And whenever a woman in her 50s, especially if you're a realtor and their mortgages, when you're a woman in your 50 and you see you know, a 22-year-old male, what do you think?
No experience, maybe.
Dumb
Yeah.
and irresponsible. So I was profiled. It was, you know.
It happens to everybody, but I think.
So I was the
Some
first
kids
time,
don't
and so but my response was very, like my response internally at the time was very different. I'm like, oh, cool. Because now they expect something of me,
Yeah.
and when I can do something that they don't expect, I'm going to stand out.
Right. And I fall into that a lot.
Right, and so it's like, hey, you can think anything you want to think.
Right.
And so, you know, my oldest daughter, you know, she was just born, and so my wife and I and my oldest, you know, so she was probably 2 weeks old, and we just happened to go shopping downtown Hinsdale, and just happened to go ahead and stop in, and they'd see my daughter and my wife, and they're like, you're married and you have kids? Oh yeah, we have a house.
Right. They're like.
So what I did is I jammed them, and then I shifted it all.
That's actually why I bought my first house. I actually purchased my first home when I was 20 because people said I couldn't. So it was kind of like, okay, we'll see. And so, yeah. I'm one of those people.
One of those.
See, that, see,
tell us you
see,
can't, she'll try harder.
Right. It's like,
right, see,
I want to prove it wrong. They're like, no way, you're 20 years old and you can purchase a house.
right.
And I worked 2 jobs and I did it.
See, that story is worth millions to you.
Right. Oh, I got a lot of other stories too.
I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
See, but the thing is, do you know who doesn't want you to share your stories more than anybody else?
Who is that?
Elkin.
I'm not put this together.
Right,
I'm
you
trying
trying to
the
figure it all
question.
out, right?
I'm trying to look at the picture the question. Who doesn't want her to share that story of what? That she can at her age with.
Who doesn't want you to share your
And these people
story?
like her, people that sell stuff, people who want, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who would want for me to share the story.
Most of your friends know that what you get for me.
Yeah, I would say so. The people that are close to
We
me.
came from the same place, I don't want you running out ahead of me.
Because
Taking
usually
me
those
to
are the first
fast
people
food.
say you can't. Like they believe in you less than other people. Like I find that all the time. Usually people that are in my close circle, like I'll give you like Ann for instance. We met almost a year ago. And he seen me in 2 different seasons. He saw me when I first was excited. Like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be great. And he's like giving me feedback, like you don't want to do that. And then he saw me when I went through a rough patch, and he's like, what's going on with you? Where you been? I'm just barely getting along. He's like, you need to get out. Like, you got this. And so like now I had to overcome some things over the winter, and now I'm back. Like, hey Ed, I thought about all
How
the
many
stuff you
times have you
said.
gone? You're back. How many times have you gone?
This was my second consistent year, like where I get into that I'm talking about, I don't go anywhere. I start to feel like I can't make it.
So when I was in the Lakota Indian Reservation,
Because you know you're gonna get
10 years ago probably,
Where's it at?
South Dakota, it's the poorest county in the US, the most poverty of anyone. I was talking to a Lakota Indian chief, and he said, Mark, we as Lakota Indians are like crabs in a bucket. And I said, what does that mean? He said, when one tries to crawl
I'm
out,
gonna pull one down.
you pull them all back in.
That happens to the black community every day.
It happens to any
They call it hating. You're being a hater, different things.
I don't remember.
But yeah, most people don't want to see you succeed.
Well, I need to
See,
tell you.
and so the black community is the one that doesn't want your stories out there.
Yeah, that is true. I hate to say that, but it is.
She is a good.
Well, you have the few who are interested, but
Oh, right,
right,
oh,
but
right.
generally speaking,
Right.
they can care less.
Right, because
Like,
what
what do
they
you think you are?
right, because what they want is because it challenges their paradigm.
You got it.
They're like, well, if you can succeed. So I was talking to a black woman in Houston,
Yeah.
and I said, do you know who the most powerful person on the planet is?
Oprah Winfrey.
Well, part of why her power is because of
She's
this.
got a nice little following.
We'll talk again.
Okay.
Your card?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to go far.
Right, he is on a roll and he's drawing in.
You are.
We got ways to go.
Well, if I don't contact you today, maybe tomorrow for sure. Is that okay? Okay.
How about next Thursday? How about next Thursday? You got a long ways to go. You gotta move closer.
What do you want?
To get
To
together.
us to get together.
Next Thursday?
And then I have another one like this that says.
He's up
"This is
in the morning?"
blooming," and it
Well, I was
talks about
thinking that
people that need opportunities.
that'd make it easier for me.
Early would be better for me just because of work. I usually start work around 9. I can do early morning if I know I got time.
What do you want? Three of us, or come on, everybody, I'm not sure.
I don't know, whoever wants to, us, all of us.
Yeah, you can call me us.
You wanna do it in person? You, Mark Barger, wanna meet in person?
I know,
What's going on?
I know.
You
It's
know,
the
like-
expression.
He's got some
No,
stuff
it's not.
growing.
It's all that female influence. You wanna be black now, you wanna.
Right.
Totally, big
Oh,
time.
and a black female in there.
I'm telling you,
When he
I'm
does that
telling
part,
you.
I'm checking out.
I'm
Right.
telling you, I mean, what I could do.
I'm afraid.
Now I can braid your hair if you want a little bit longer. I can get you some
It would have to
braid.
be, yeah.
I wanna see you braid that.
Right. That might be a short.
Saturday, are you gonna be on?
Yeah, I can come on. Yeah, I have to work Saturday, but if it's on the phone, I can.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So Saturday, we'll try to pull it off, to get you guys locked in. Boom, boom, this is what's gonna happen.
Two scenarios.
Yeah, Friday I can't, so Thursday.
Oh, that's right, I'm not
Well, you
gonna
don't
be
be
here.
friends with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk to the neck.
Right, the neck is, you gotta, girl, you gotta put it
They
the
tell
right
you
way.
what I said?
No, right.
Right.
Right, you gotta get them in direction.
Yeah, I use that all the time when you said that.
You got it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Next
I
month.
you put in your height and weight. Yeah. Don't go by those.
So you know what it is.
Well, they're-
What was,
Not as accurate.
Hit the ground.
there was so many names today.
They're not way off. So the amount of
Peter.
protein it tells you on
And
carbon is different than what you
Lake
do
in the
on.
hills.
Oh,
I've never heard of that.
That's
Okay, hills? It's up north.
Okay,
was 3,600.
that's my first time hearing that.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
That's
So,
why I'm saying.
like the four of you,
You all gotta eat right.
you're in Aurora too.
Yeah, she is.
All of us are Aurora.
We're all in Aurora.
And the whole thing
Yeah.
throughout the day.
I'm 5 minutes from these guys.
A lot
Hey, I know.
of carbs and a lot
Place,
of.
I'm 7 minutes from Charles.
24 grams.
So,
And we're right next door to each other.
This
We're
is
like
it.
10 seconds away from
As
each
soon as you
other.
sat down, you talked to her.
so
I was listening
what
to
do
your
we take
conversation.
to get you guys going on your own route without me?
A coffee shop, and I have a great place.
I know one that opens at 7.
I
And we
just,
could actually do it at his coffee shop, in a coffee connection.
I just need the
A
training.
coffee connection.
The problem like I go,
I think kids.
Well, it's 180 raw, and I mean.
What time?
I leave the house at 8.
I like
If it's 50 degrees or above, we ride a bike.
Oh.
That's why.
And if it's below 50, we
So we
ride.
did it at 6:30.
Yeah.
Without sugar.
It opens at 7.
Well, and the other thing is.
Okay, so anyways,
Somehow,
somehow,
makes it.
somehow, we gotta get you guys,
My first
I got one. Like, we gotta get,
stuff from Walmart.
like, we gotta get,
This is a
No.
buy 10, get one free.
what?
That's his
not,
coffee shop.
but I recognize your logo quickly.
Yes, I'm on Lake Street.
I need t-shirts.
Hey,
Not an emergency.
How many
You do
servings?
t-shirts
I'm
too?
still behind because I wasted so much time on the phone and here today. I'm way behind.
Yeah, sorry, but
Size doesn't
I hope
matter,
it's worth it.
serving size.
You can leave anytime.
No, you know what,
I didn't buy it.
It's
Well,
okay.
then it's perfect.
Yeah.
Do you
How many t-shirts
You do service?
I just have to buy it next time.
do we do service?
Yeah,
Yeah, like if
catering?
I wanted to
That
get
may not
coffee
be
at the
delivered
farm.
what you want. It grows.
If you wanted to get,
Coffee like to serve to the farm?
oh, like deliver a big pot
Yeah.
every hour or something, or?
Not every hour, I'm not that busy yet. I'm just
We
saying
have
in
our
general,
own-
like.
Yeah, we're looking into that. Our R&D,
Okay.
our R&D,
You could buy it and drip yourself.
Yeah.
our R&D is researching that right now, actually. Our R&D is researching that right now.
I don't know if I know who makes it. Pretending that I know what R&D is, when she doesn't.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I don't know what
I'm
it
gonna
is.
speak to a salon owner.
Okay.
Okay,
Because you
so,
know women feel stupid and it's more about their feelings than about what they don't know.
Right, right. That's, no, really it is.
I'm
That
so
was
glad.
good.
How many minutes?
It's not good for you here.
Shouldn't need, no.
Step right out of your feelings to get to.
Yeah.
What have we learned here?
but yeah, but the thing is they, when you go ahead and lift them up like that, when you lift them up like that, they like it. When you go ahead and call them out on stuff, they love it.
You make it a little more like you, then it's.
Well, I don't know if it's like you, it's realizing really what their full capability. So anyway,
Okay.
I'm a little
So-
facetious.
I get that.
You know facetious mean?
I do.
Okay, I don't wanna make it.
Like hypothetical.
We have, sorry, high quality.
Are you following me on the?
You cannot go ahead and make anybody feel stupid, they can only review
Hey,
it.
Ed, how long have you known
It's
Sharita?
helping you with your nutrition
At
plan.
least a year or more.
Because you're
And
doing all
she
this
hasn't
stuff.
come
Yeah.
before.
I know, you didn't hit him like I told you to. You did not hit him, I told you to hit him. Did I not tell you to hit him?
You did.
Did you think I wasn't gonna follow through on that?
Do you know how much money I could have been making just to have this energy in the group? I could have been bringing people, I could be cleaning analytic Amy all the time, and letting her take over. Gosh, you know the pressure it is being an expressive.
Experience together and
Well, no, actually, I just kind of like observed everything, and it was just like, okay.
No,
I had to get a feel for what was going on, but it's like,
But as your neighbor has watched you go through things.
yes,
And
and
I thought you were
me.
still need somebody to do it.
Yeah. It didn't tell me anything.
How do we market it?
I just found out. Was that last week?
I was
we
with my
talked?
mother.
Yeah, so I just found out last week.
Right.
Just say, I was like, you know,
So-
when I talk to people on the phone,
The
they
thing
start
that
getting
gives
me. How are you doing that?
So, the thing that gives me a sense of urgency, the ability to kill things fast,
Yeah.
is I heard, and I don't know who it was, I don't know if it was Spielberg or one of those guys. They were a pizza delivery person, and they delivered pizza, to, you know, someplace,
I'm gonna be
and
like
they were
this,
going down the elevator, and they noticed that it's some famous director, and he said, hey,
I'm sitting there doing.
you know, and introduced himself, and the director was, said, you know, you really impressed me,
Well, you could if you were.
give me a call, and
But
he
yeah,
was
I'll send you some information.
Wow.
and I don't know if it was Spielberg, but it was one of the top guys, and we
Send
wouldn't
me
have Star
your-
Wars, we
your
wouldn't have all this
height
stuff.
and
Wow.
weight
If
on my
it
number.
wasn't
See if-
sensitive
Probably have 100.
to the opportunity,
That's my
and then
guess.
if he didn't seize
Is that
it.
what they said? Did you get your numbers?
Put it back clear, but then.
5% fast.
Okay,
You know
so
better
I'm
than
gonna tell you
95%
something
muscle.
about me. I normally am an act now person.
Do you know why you're telling me
Just
this?
to make.
Yes, because my husband is the opposite. No, and that's where the issue is. So
I wouldn't go any more than that.
Do
when
you wanna know why Amy's laughing?
when we first talked,
Then it becomes.
I was ready just from our conversation. But because he thinks I jump on too many things at one time,
You look like.
because I do have an entrepreneur spirit, you know, when something's not working, I'm trying to figure something else out.
So if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
That's a meal, that's not.
We're talking about
Just
certain
nutrition.
Just in general, or
Just need a good
you need
this
to-
situation.
Start.
Is there a way to just make a shake so I just
Eh.
drink my
My real answer, I would have asked
You
you.
can,
Yeah, but you got your
have to
husband.
learn what's in foods as well.
I'm working on that.
I know, but you know, that takes some time.
Not really, I think that.
Well, it did this time, because you just came up with that, and that's why you just use it as an excuse, you can't pull it away.
You're right. It wasn't,
I have a full meal inside.
I can. Okay, so it wasn't a full excuse, but I was just saying that, financially, he's like, you know, you gotta be careful.
So if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different?
So I drink like a quarter in the morning, the rest of it throughout.
That's where we started, right?
Sip on it.
Well, I'll have a glass and then like after lunch I'll have another glass. And then
That's a good question.
So you either have to respond immediately to me
Yeah.
and say, you know, I talked to my husband,
Drink some.
and as soon as you say, oh, I get it, I understand. And then at least I'm okay, at least she's responsible, she doesn't take action, but she's got these other things, she's trying to navigate, I get the navigation, that's not easy to do.
Right,
You know?
that was one of the things, and then it just,
Well,
you
So
know. I
either
had to
you
do-
push forward and risk
Yeah.
that relationship,
Or-
or you go ahead and let me know, listen, I said I was gonna do this, but I got this and this, I got a wall of opportunity, I'm trying to get around it.
Exactly,
So you gotta do one of those two things, because if you don't,
just that communication.
because,
Well, but he's trying to grow.
Yeah. I just started taking knowledge points so I can see that.
She don't have much choice.
She does. She has
I have
tremendous
a choice.
choice.
Right, I have choice. I think what he was saying is that when I first heard about everything, I had an opportunity to act immediately.
Melatonin's fine.
But with work and my husband in my ear, like, you just went shopping, you did this, you did that, you know, should you be a part of this? Is this another scheme? Is this something else? You know, it's like that battle. And so it's like, okay, well, at least let me go, and then, you know, I can let you know, and then we'll talk about it. So it's not that I can't do it.
no, I get it, the thing is, you gotta inform me. Because it's somebody at my frequency,
Glad to help you.
I will move on so fast.
Right, but then it's my thing too of not knowing what I'm dealing with. Okay, so it's kind of like, when you don't know the worth of the connection, you kind of know what I'm saying? And I think that's why you were saying the seeds.
Well, but the thing is you got,
Email me.
with high frequency people, they don't give people much room because they have so many opportunities to help and impact so many people.
Right, and I get that now, but when I talked to you last week, I didn't know anything about, you know what I mean? I got
You
a
can
phone.
sense it in the energy.
Yeah, you can.
But you did say you didn't know anybody like me, so how are you supposed to sense if you never met it?
Right, I mean, I liked our conversation. I
Right.
thought that you can challenge me and help me do different things.
Right.
But it's like what he was talking about earlier, trust. When you've been hurt and burned and ripped off,
That's
it's kind of like,
Close to you or your biggest-
yeah, right, you kind of know what I'm saying? So it's like, I really like this guy. I like everything he's
So
talking
who do you
about.
think, who do you think's been hurt, abused,
My
beat
biggest
up,
album when I used
betrayed more, you or me?
Because I know I take pictures with everyone.
Maybe you, because you're a little older.
Right, if for no other reason, I'm
Right.
50.
I mean, you've been married for almost 30 years. I'm
Right,
35.
so 30 years marriage, 7
Right.
kids, 4 girls, guess what?
Right.
50 years old, you
Right.
know what, if no, for no other reason, and so,
You say thank you for calling me stupid.
I met him
You
at an
say
after party.
thank you for pointing out.
Right.
It's
And
like,
it's one year in Chicago.
right,
Oh,
you know, and so the thing is,
I grew up in
that
LA.
was a hurt.
He goes,
right, you go ahead and say, I'm gonna either choose to trust people, or I'm gonna choose not to, it's up to me. When I went over to, with Jonathan, he's my oldest son, so he's 24, when he was 13, he and I went over to Africa. And so, I'm over in Africa at the Gambia. And so, we're trying to hire 3 people for Life Masters Institute, not a nonprofit organization. And so I'm trying to find, you know, good, responsible people.
He literally, he was like this.
And, you know, I'm talking to business owners over there and they say, you know, what's your biggest challenge? And they're like, you know, finding good people. So I go ahead and say, oh, I understand,
He has a picture of my friend.
because that's what we say.
Right.
Maybe I still do.
But the truth is, I don't understand. So I'm talking to, you know, African woman that owns her own school. She's a black woman that owns her own school. She lived in Gambia her whole life. And she owned her own school. And so I asked her, I said, we're looking for somebody that, you know, is loyal, somebody that is, you know, dependable, reliable, somebody that's honest, integral. She's like, I said, you know, so, you know, do you have some names of people that you could refer that we could go ahead and,
Right.
and she's like, no.
Mm.
I'm like, no, they don't have to be really high.
But just that.
Anybody.
Right.
She's like, no. I don't know anybody.
Why? Why she won't do that?
Cause we gotta go. It's my
Yeah,
right, so.
call me, let's figure out.
I can't
how
get
we
by.
get-
So, it's very nice to meet you.
I know, same here. I was looking forward to it. So we'll be in touch about that, service that we don't offer yet.
I'm sure
So
we
the thing
do.
is,
I know, I'm just-
Call Amy, email, whatever.
Right, you're
she'll-
like, that's not that bad
Buy
to
Amy
make some
what?
coffee. You know when you're doing an event or meeting or something?
When you don't
I'm not a
have
coffee. Okay, let me hurry up.
a husband,
We're about to get left.
father, and mother,
You slow, once when you slow.
everything.
I hope I slow
Because
up.
you don't have both energy bases, you
I'm
don't
just
have
for-
the gifts of both.
We have a lot going on
So
at the
what
cafe.
happens is it's skewed in one direction.
What are you looking for?
And then it messes
For
everything up.
your
Both ways together.
company
Because
logo?
when you create a society, you know, where it's just rampant, you know.
Put it somewhere.
I won't use the logo.
Massive
I won't use that.
issues.
I won't use that logo.
The kids then go ahead and pick up those
I got
habits
some.
and it propagates it also more and more and more.
Oh.
This was an entire society. I mean, you saw it, like in
I don't have
Louisiana,
the,
when there was the, you
company
know,
one.
when
But I have yours.
Katrina, there's all
Start
the
with-
looting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What it looks like.
Over in Japan,
Hey,
they have the,
you
now, now,
I didn't even get a chance to look out.
there's no,
Jobs are for people
looting,
who don't own real estate.
looting,
good.
stealing.
Yeah.
So in Louisiana,
Okay, when did you go to study
there's a flood, everybody says, oh, it's my opportunity to steal
What do
something.
you mean,
And say they
job?
steal.
I own real estate.
Okay,
I got it.
yeah, oh, when I get back to the shop, I'll get.
But in
them.
Japan,
I'm good.
nobody steals.
Right. Get people thinking about
It's a
buying
culture,
real
it's
estate.
indoctrinated in
So I'll
our
just tell you
culture.
exactly what time.
Okay.
Okay, okay, all right, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Well, if you don't have, if you don't have a strong father, you don't have a strong father.
I was trying to get, you know, you're trying to clean up your mess, I'm like, let me make sure I got
Because
everything.
the father provides a lot of the, a father provides a lot of the reality, the hard realities of life, like a lot of times, and it's some personality as well, but a lot of times the father, like, you know, the little.
Okay, I'm ready then, I had to
the
make sure I
little-
cleaned up my mess.
The little son goes ahead, we'll see ya, thank you.
We'll talk soon, I still gotta get the full answer to the power.
Day or so, so it's fresh.
So,
on the minds.
the,
Sharita.
so the little, like a 3-year-old falls down, what's his mom do?
Have a good one.
Hugs him, kisses him, oh, what's his dad do? You know, be more careful, suck up, you know, figure it out, I mean, and so if you don't have both of those, the love and the compassion, and then the strength of, life is not fair, you know what? Sometimes, you know, sometimes your best effort isn't good enough. And when your best effort isn't good enough, guess what? You get better. Or you die. I mean, you know? I mean, so life isn't fair, so don't think it's going to be fair. And most of the time, that's going to come from the father. Not always. It's going to come from often the driver
Okay.
or the analytic. And so there's 75% of women that are going to be expressive or amiable, and 75% of men are going to be here. So 25% of women are going to be up here, and 25% of men are going to be down there. And so that's why Luna, okay, that's why she wants to be a man.
Yeah, she's a driver.
Right,
Yeah, she is.
right. And so in China, if you're a woman and you're up here, I mean, it's like you can't really use your engine.
What do you use, Andrew?
You can't be a dominant woman. You can't get the respect. It's like you're supposed to be loving and gentle and submissive. And in America, you know, they'll allow women to be right, and there'll be a lot of attraction to that and a lot of honor given to that. It's like, whoa, they're a strong woman. They're, you know, that's really, really cool. But over in China, you know, you can't. So it's like I want to. So she has male energy, just like you. You have male energy, but over in China, it's not respected. It's not honored. It's not appreciated. It's not.
Right, a lot of women being single for the rest of their life because they cannot find husbands.
Right.
Because they're in.
Right. So the men over there that are like this, they have the culture. They have the culture that says you can't be a man and be like this.
Right.
And so they're like, the worst thing you can do is marry a woman like that, because then your family's gonna say, oh, you should never marry that woman. She's gonna control you. The reason she's gonna control you is because you don't know how to control yourself. It's really simple. This is not complicated.
Yeah, that's causing a lot of conflict.
Oh, yeah.
In the family, even they're living with their parents, it's even
Oh, yeah.
10 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
So the whole country is just
Right.
fighting to each other.
Right.
In their
And
single.
as women get their voice and become more confident, say, it's okay to be who God made me to be. So I met Mo Anderson, past president of Keller Williams. And she's up here, and I spoke at an event, and she was speaking, and we talked afterwards, and she said until she learned the personalities, because she was raised Christian, because Christian is very similar to Chinese. You know, my mom's up in here, my dad's down in here, and so Christian is very much like Chinese. You know, passive women, easygoing, yes, husband's head of house, you know, you do what your husband says. So it's very much like that. And so my mom, you know, in conservative Christians, they tend to go ahead and not honor that kind of drive in women too. And so when the women over in China start to go ahead and gain more understanding of this, it's gonna really shift energy a lot.
It is. My girlfriend, I met her like 6 months ago. She changed a lot. She changed her whole planet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. At the time I met her, she was divorced.
Right.
She did not divorce, and her husband and sent their parents back to hometown. And she stayed home taking care of the baby, and she started doing business with me, and she made a lot of friends.
Right. So it's.
Ever since her around, she believed me now. Before she don't.
This is yours.
I was never interested, but sure. I'm glad we looked at it and deciphered it.
But there's a long way to go. Believe me, not like you think it's the whole China can be changed overnight. It's not.
You think it can be changed overnight, do you?
I don't.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's going to take at least a week for us to do it.
100 years. Yes.
Have you ever read Tipping Point? Or read?
I don't write anything.
Yeah, you need to read Good to Great. It's the flywheel. So if you understood the flywheel,
Am I walking you, do you want me to walk you through it? We can walk through it together then.
No, I'm just saying, I see pictures.
I'm just thinking, I don't know if there's anything that was resolved here. You
Something
didn't
resolved here?
resolve anything, but I mean, about the Aurora thing,
Yeah.
there's kind of an open loop in the
I'm coming. You just send me an email. I'm just coming.
Okay, when?
I can do any day. Not Thursday, right?
Right.
Not good on Tuesday because we have a life coaching session. I started a life coaching training class.
Nice.
Yeah, so,
Hey, anytime, because I noticed when you were sitting there, and you were trying to pronounce my words with me, and I really appreciate that.